Yeah.
Okay, everybody. So let's get started. Welcome to the marketing workshop. This is not a lecture. This is just, we're throwing out questions and trying to come up with ideas for each other. This is recorded and will be put out in the public. So don't mention competitors that you hate or major strategies you want people to keep quiet because it's going to go out there. And I just don't want to go back and re-edit the audio and the video later. So who's got questions about marketing this week? Who's got things they want to talk about? Websites they want to show off? Kimberly,
I have
take it away.
noticed recently that Facebook is removing posts with links to our website, and they're informative things like what happens at a home inspection, things of that nature. I don't know if anyone has anything about that. And we're also seeing Google is quietly removing certain things as well. So that's been our challenge the last 2 weeks. We've been getting a lot of content removed. So I don't know
Are
if
you getting
anyone,
notifications that it's removing, or
we
is it just you notice it gone?
Google, no notifications. Facebook, they keep sanctioning us, saying we are trying to obtain personal identifiable financial information from people, which we're not. If we put the links in, the links go to our website. The other thing is some of the ones that they have been, they're saying they're identified as spam. Now, I realize that I that most of these are being removed by AI, and we're asking for revisiting, reconsideration, but we haven't received any response whatsoever. So has anyone else had a problem?
So,
I've definitely noticed it happening for sure.
so I've always had it for the longest time. I was doing when on my Google My Business, I would write a blog article. I would take a
Yes.
snippet of that blog article over to Google My Business as an update, and I'd post it. And they started immediately getting banned. Like within seconds, I get an email, and there was no Google ambassador that would be able to explain to me why. Because every time they said, well, it doesn't match this criteria. And I was like, oh, but it does. Here you go. Oh, well, and it was just round and round. They're looking for the reason to keep the ban instead of looking for the reason to do it. So I don't even try to do that anymore because every time I've done it since then, it's within seconds. It's like they don't even look at it. As far as Facebook, I haven't noticed anything on Facebook yet.
Okay, gotcha.
If
And it's interesting, a lot of the content is the KCM content that automatically posts. We have it connected to our Facebook business page. So, and then a few things, because Bob, you had asked me to make sure that I had my website.
Hold on just a second. I'm posting KCM stuff every day to about 40 or 50 local business pages. I'm not getting any of them taken down.
Is that right? Okay, I've had three
Okay, back
taken
to you.
down. I've had three of those taken down, and then anytime we have
Don't
our
get me in
website.
trouble.
What's that?
Don't get me in trouble. Don't turn me in.
Oh, no, I'm
well,
not going to. I mean, I've reached out to my KCM or KCM to ask if they've had any complaints, because all of the posts or social media informative or graphics, this is
Right.
what rates are doing. This is what the
Right.
expectation, how to do a home
It's the most
inspection.
mundane real estate information you could ever
Exactly.
get. Interesting.
Tim,
Okay.
if
And I interrupted you from saying something else.
Um, we had started adding our website, as you and I, Bob, discussed, you're making sure we direct people. For instance, are you looking for homes with pools? Here's a few to check out. And those have been flagged. And I don't know if it's because once you get on there, I think we've got it set up for you have to do 2 searches before you have to register on our website. We're just trying to figure out what the problem is, because there's no rhyme or reason. So it's
You're on
cutting
their
into our
shit list for
marketing
some
though.
reason. 'Cause you're on their shit list because for some reason we're doing the same thing and we're not
Okay.
getting flagged.
Tim, if I may suggest something, I mean, it might be somebody literally manually reporting you. Somebody must be hating you for some odd reason, because if both Google and Facebook is doing it,
Yeah.
somebody that knows you're a competitor or something just constantly reporting you flag, 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 flag.
Is that right?
I mean,
hadn't
that's
thought about that.
it's a decent possibility, in my opinion.
Okay.
And the only other thing I can recommend is move the link to comments in Facebook.
That's what I was gonna say.
Ah.
Facebook has been on a mission for quite a long time to not get people off the platform.
Okay.
So put a note that the link is in the description or in the comments.
Okay. That's good. I will do that. I will make a note to do that. Okay. Very
I did
good.
have Facebook flag some of mine, but they were from like a year ago.
Okay.
And I think it was the exact same thing where it claims it was trying to grab personal info.
Gotcha.
So I
Well,
think the bot is just going through stuff, and unfortunately you're on their list.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I'll see what we can do in the, in the near future and see if we get off of their list. So. Okay, that was my
Who else
question.
has stuff? Brian, what's up with you?
Not a whole lot, just checking to see what everybody's up to. I've just sort of been doing the same thing, which is really not a whole lot with the website. I've been doing some of the last call I was on with you, had some Google My Business page things. So I've done a little bit of that. But really just sort of staying on pace with like posting on Facebook and other social media platforms, just with a call to action going to our website, and no problems
Gotcha.
with that.
What's your site again?
HuntLLC.com.
Some people memorize people's phone numbers. I've got to get to the point I memorize people's URLs.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay, cool. Who else has got stuff?
I just posted in your group, but we came across something really interesting. Loving Phoenix Realty, a site that's like a realty site, apparently ranked number 3 for a TikTok star's home address. And the TikTok star's 3-year-old child died, apparently drowning in the pool. The address was never given in the articles, but apparently people are so curious that they started searching it. And apparently over 8,000 people went to his website because his website still had the page for a house that was sold 5 years ago. And because nobody else was having that content or the listing on their content pages, he ranked number 3 right after Zillow and Realtor. And the guy got like over 8,000 visits to his property address page, which was the funniest thing I ever saw in my life. And I thought, like, interesting, having sold
Because the
listings.
house was involved in a very sad death situation.
Yes,
and he
a
had a page
3-year-old
for that
son drowned
house.
in the pool. Yeah, 3-year-old son apparently of this big TikTok star died in the pool,
Oh my
pool of the
God.
house.
This
So
is
it's
an
a sad
awfully
story.
sad story, very awfully sad story. With that said, I see opportunity here.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. I once had a house that someone was shot and killed in the front yard, or actually on the sidewalk. So technically, it was on an easement. It wasn't even on the property. And it was a very tumultuous woman who had always every relationship was an issue, and it was one of her ex-boyfriends. Well, her ex-husband was still on the deed, and she didn't want to live there anymore because someone died outside, and it was her current boyfriend that killed the new one, or killed the old one, whatever it was. Well, when I started posting this property online, and so like he found these posts, and he would go in the comments and call it Murder House. So it became Murder House. With that said, finding properties that, going through history and finding properties that have some type of historical value, whether it is a crime scene or something big happened there or something, and creating a page for that property, even if it's not currently listed, you will, when it is listed, you already have a page for it that will be drawn to you, because no one's really saying, hey, let me create a page for all these historical properties. What? I'm just saying, if there's a,
I had just never thought of this.
Mert gave me the idea. It's Mert's fault.
No, I mean, you can do this for anything. You can literally create like local news articles, find the
Yeah.
address of the event that happened, because newspapers don't give it, link to the property address, property
But-
this, and link to it.
But
There's
this
a
guy
whole
got a ton
TV
of
show
traffic to his
that deals
website.
with murder houses and renovating them.
Yeah.
It was on Roku at one point.
So, but this guy got a ton of traffic to his website that was unintended. But now an opportunity is here is like find events that have happened that are historical events that have happened, whether it's whether it's political or it's psycho killer. I mean, who lived there and create something. Everybody, every big city has a house that some celebrity at some point lived in, and you could create that search, and when that property does come
My
up for
cat
sale,
gives us a stop.
you show it. So there's opportunity there. I'm just saying.
It seems like your blog niche for Houston real estate laws.
I'm not
What
opposed to
kind
it.
of thing are you hosting here, Bob?
I
I'm
said this
sure
is a workshop. This is a
This is
workshop.
simple
I have no
SEO.
control.
This is simple SEO. That's all we're doing. We're talking.
It's
this is
actually smart. It scares me, but it's smart. So let me show you what I've been up to, which is totally different than what Leslie was just talking about and Mert was giving advice for. So the rail line, Dart Rail in Dallas, I have a site that's been running for a long time, Dart Rail Living. I'm revamping it. And I borrowed the graphics from the Dart site about their lines and stuff like that. And I'm actually creating different polygon searches. So if you want to live near Parker Road, here's the Parker Road station and all the houses that are around it. And then I'm obviously doing SEO around this, Parker Road station. I'm grabbing all the keywords and meta description from the actual Dart site about the station. And these are going to become at some point hyperlinkable. Is that even a word? So that you click on, switch from the red line to the orange line to the green line and see all the stations along the way. And I had a site that was doing this. It was written not completely in Real Geeks. So I'm taking the time now to revamp this. And I'm just trying to find other things that I can start ranking for. So
Bob, if I may suggest, I have a competitor in the Chicago area. It's Homes by Marco, and he does this kind of thing. He does like a subways and other things. He also ranks for parks too, like homes near a park name or something. You can
Okay.
pretty much like there's another thing that apparently there's a lot of traffic for him, and he does this too. So this is a genius idea for you. Congratulations. Also, homes near parks also help too, like local parks. That really helps with
Right.
traffic.
Right.
Just so you know that. Mhm.
So the other thing that, the cobbler's kids never, have shoes. I had been building everybody else's websites and I did not realize that my MLS had changed some of the search terms. So, how it used to be like lot description equal golf course used to work. Well, when they changed things around, I don't know exactly what they did, but it became something like lot description equal golf, no longer golf course. So a lot of my links were failing and I hadn't paid attention. I'm working on everybody else's site. I didn't work on my own. So we used to only be able to have a sidebar that had about 17 or 18 things in the Dallas MLS. One of the things they did was when they changed things, they gave me a lot more opportunities. So now we have a lot more sidebar options for every one of these cities and options. I have about 50 or 60 sidebar options now instead of 18. So I've gone through and I've redone all the cities. I spent a weekend because I'm boring and I'm just going to sit here and code. I redid all my cities. I've redone the counties. I'm working my way through the school zones. And in the school zones, I'm not just doing, the same list here. All I had to do was change city name equal to school district equal, and it worked. But I'm also finding their high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools and building extra links for those. And this is taking me a longer time to get through. But it's just putting the time into it. These are different sites. These links are the same. So the investments, anything under like I think it's 250 in these 4 counties is going to be an investment quality house. Anything under 250 in Dallas Fort Worth is probably going to be investor. I did the exact same search and called it affordable living. I'm trying to see which keyword plays better. Does investor or affordable play better in the SEO world? So that's just some A/B testing. These are referral sites where I refer to some of the great folks I'm working with, and I need to get some more up there. These are the different high-rise buildings in Dallas Fort Worth, and I went and stole the meta descriptions and keywords from the HOAs that run each of these, to the point now that I get a phone call when somebody has a party down the way and she's like, he put his trash out early the other day, and you need to send him honey, I don't run your HOA, but thank you for finding my website. I appreciate the call. What I haven't done yet is there's 200 zip codes that I've done. So these are on the old, you see how this is the old sidebar. So I just, and it's like 18 things here versus all the stuff I can drop in sidebar now. And so that's just a note to myself, go check your own damn site. I almost pulled a Leslie and cuss. Go check your own site rather than, just always looking at everybody else's. And really anybody who has a site, we need to go in every couple of years and just brush it up and be sure. Like Leslie has a site in Houston, kind of the same thing. We're working on everybody else's sites. We need to go look at our own and keep those up to speed. So that's what I'm working on now is the Dallas Rail Living and getting all my sidebars back up to date. Because there's opportunity here and I'm paying the same $300 a month for it. Might as well, keep it current.
Bob, ironically, if you run a page feed, like a paused campaign on a PPC campaign, in a PPC campaign, you can run a dynamic PPC, not run it, but just open a campaign regardless, pause it, and you can add those URLs that you have on your right sidebar, put them in the feed like an Excel file. And once you upload it to the page feed, and if the campaign has a rule that says, oh, no matching listings or like a 0 results kind of a thing on the message, Google will actually say this feed is disapproved based on the rule that you set up. That will actually help you catch which of your URLs you set up has 0 listings on it. That will actually allow you to catch like bad URLs or URLs that changed or whatever in those results. I can rewind and re-explain. I apologize. I just threw like 10 very different stuff in there. So the same
You are
pages,
so far over my head right now.
so the pages that you use on your sidebar, I use
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same. They are Realbase is also PPC templates. So
Right.
Realbase uses those pages as landing pages for PPC, which works great because they're
Right.
great conversion pages. I mean, nothing bad about it. But I also use those pages for dynamic campaigns. And when I do that, when you put them in a page feed, like there's a concept called page feed in Google PPC, where you can upload a feed of pages and Google learns them and runs them, so to speak. And
Gotcha.
the funny part is you don't have to necessarily run that PPC campaign, but if you set up a campaign associated with that page feed, Google will actually check those pages and say, oh, this page is disapproved because there's nothing on the page, or it's just like a no listings on the page kind of thing. If you in the campaign, you can create like instead of a negative keyword, you can add like a negative rule. So if the content has no matching listings or whatever the error was on the no listings on the page content, it will actually disapprove that from the page feed. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
so once you disapprove it, you're like, oh, this page must be broken. So you can go to the page and see, oh, this page has no listings. Why does it have no listings? You can check that way. And like it's almost becomes like an auto broken link checker for you.
Okay.
I know it's kind of complicated, guys. I apologize. Look,
That's okay.
But yeah,
The
it's
same
just
thing you can get the same thing out of Google Search Console.
of course you can. Yeah, if
Yeah.
Google indexes those pages, absolutely, you're right. You're right. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
problem is those pages are not seen as 404s. They're actually live pages. They're not really 404 pages when there are
They're
no
not 404s, but they're not indexed. They're going to show up as under the not indexed section.
You're right about that. You're right about
Yeah.
that too. Sorry, I just thought
But I
about
love that you came up with a hyper complex way to do something that I'm just I tell people at times you're so far up in the stratosphere, I see the contrails of your thoughts. I don't see
my
what's
apologies.
making the contrails. You're just so far ahead of all of us.
Nowadays, I'm just trying to build PPC out of it, not SEO. So it's like a whole different storyline for me. I apologize. I'm shutting up now.
No,
Carry
please
on.
don't apologize. I like seeing the contrails. There's something I need to grow in altitude to get up to that level at some point.
Sorry. Go
But
ahead, please. Yeah. Any
you're doing
questions,
great.
guys? I don't mean to take the time of people. Go ahead.
You don't have to apologize for taking up air in the room. It's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kyler, what's going on with you?
Why did I feel like you were gonna call on me at some point? I feel like I'm back in class and I don't want to talk. Nothing. I'm just here to learn, see what everyone else has got going on. Because as you
Tell
know, I
people about your
struggle with.
website. Tell people about your website and your social media strategy right now.
Oh, which social media strategy? I don't have one.
Hmm.
No, you know that I struggle with posting, and I'm working on that. I'm actually kind of trying to multitask right now and put one together so you don't chew me out. Yeah, and then of course my website is just kind of there. I shoot people to it here or there, but I'm trying to figure out a way to make it more useful and work for me. Hence why I'm here and seeing what everyone else has got going on.
What's your website again?
KlingbergCollective.com.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And who's running your site again?
Luxury Present.
Luxury Presence. Okay.
We know how you hate Luxury Presents.
No, I don't hate anybody. I'm kind and gentle to
Oh,
all
not
Yes,
people.
we do.
you.
We hate it. We hate it.
Do I help them? Yes, I do. Yes. All I need is your voice. Okay. Okay, so you're getting better on social. You're gonna keep directing people to your URL. Who's been using anything like Notebook LM recently? Has anybody gotten into that? So Notebook LM is it's a Google product. Let me share screen again. It's a Google product, and it will create a podcast recording off of a text that you give it. So this is, can you see? So the text I put in here is from Keeping Current Matters. I took a Keeping Current Matters article, and hold on, let me share again with audio. My apologies. I get paid by the share screen. So so you put in the text, and it creates an AI version of two people talking about it as if it's a radio show. Okay.
Okay, so if you're looking at the housing market right now, you might be feeling a bit confused, maybe.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Some houses just vanish, like
Yeah.
instantly, and others seem to just sit there for ages.
Right. Redfin called it topsy-turvy, which feels, pretty accurate.
Definitely. We still got fairly low inventory, though maybe ticking up a bit, but prices are still high.
Stubbornly high, yeah.
So it makes you wonder, what's the deal? Why are some homes flying off the market and others aren't?
So you get where this is going here. What I'm doing, and if you're on my mailing list, you're going to get the on Mondays and Thursdays, Texas Pride Realty sends out a Keeping Current Matters blog post. I've now inserted in there, listen to this blog post, and put the link.
Yeah, I
I'm
made a
trying to see
blog
if
post.
my
Yeah.
email. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm
I
trying to see
added
if
a
my
blog.
email clicks will get better if we if we include an audio version. I love it when two people say, "No, you go first," and then they both collide again. Go, Mert.
I just in the chat, I added a link to one of our test ones for that. There's a 21-minute blog post if somebody wants to listen to it. Talking about a client of mine, I just want to see how it works in a podcast. It was just a podcast link with the same
Okay.
technology you just mentioned.
So the one thing I can do, I think I can do 2 or 3 a day that are free. But I thought about this because I got the Today's CFW blog where we review different restaurants and places to go eat and places to shop and stuff like that. What if we added an audio out of each one of those, John, and created, I'm sorry, John, I'm just going to make your life hell and just give you more to do. What if we were able to read each of those? Now, I'm limited to, I think, 2 or 3 a day unless I upgrade. And they want you to upgrade, I think, as a professional account or something. I'll have to figure that out. But what do you think of having these are just totally AI voices talking about the thing you tell it to talk about?
You can make it.
Where is this going? Just out of curiosity, just in general. Not
What's the
today's
point,
DFW.
Bob?
What's the
Well,
point, Bob?
what I did was I put it out on in our twice a week email as a start. I can download the audio and put it into a podcasting system, and that way we have a podcast going out every couple days through. I used to use, I think it was called SpeechPad or so. I used to use a podcast system that got bought by Apple, so now it only feeds Apple Podcasts. But I can get back into doing that. Yeah, I just
You can schedule
it's
podcasts all day
different.
long for tips, like a small tip, like a local event tips of a town, tips about home improvement, tips about whatever. It could be a 30-second to a minute tip, and you can just
Mhm.
schedule it in and have a podcast syndication system and then it will syndicate to every podcast system out there. You can start your own podcast program, literally build a year's worth of content within 2 days by just simply having AI write a bunch of tips. Like it could be a minute tip. It doesn't have to be a super long one, is the point. It's like great branding for you. It gets your name out. You just need a nice
Yeah.
introduction stuff ahead of it.
What I should have put in the prompt is mention Texas Pride Realty.
Exactly.
You know, I just didn't do it in the prompt because I'm just learning it. But I think I was on SoundCloud before, is where I used to, no, Anchor FM. That's where I used to upload my podcasts. And they got bought by Apple. And I'm not sure they podcast to everybody anymore. I think they may be Apple only. So I'll have to double check that.
I have a question, or if anyone has an idea of how to do this. How could you use something like Notebook LM to then turn it into like an interview style video? So it sounds like you're conversing with someone, but you're not really looking at the camera. You're kind of looking off the camera, and then they're kind of responding to what you say. I see some agents. There's one, God, what's her name? Glenda something, out in Georgia. I think she does that. Glenda Baker. Yeah, she does that interview type video. Captures me every single time. Obviously, she knows what she's doing.
So
I think
give me the premise
Emily-
again. Are you wanting to not be on camera? Or are you wanting to use the AI to give me
Well, I'd like to be, I would be on camera and it would give the illusion that I am either interviewing or being interviewed by someone.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Similar
And
to
I
like what
know-
the podcast is. It's like a conversation like the podcast is
So
having.
you would
except
never
for
see
you
the other
are.
person, just you. You just have
Correct.
some voice say, "Hey, Kyler, tell me about that great new listing."
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and Glinda writes a script with questions, and she sits in front of her videographer, and off camera, that videographer's asking the questions from her script, and she answers it. So she,
Gotcha. Okay.
so, but if it can be done, without having all of that, that's probably the case. But I know I've done it, and I do the same thing where I'll script out the questions and then have them called out off camera.
Mhm.
You can literally
Okay.
have AI be the other person and turn it into a conversation. So
Yeah.
you can not add another, just you're the only real human being there, and AI will literally have the conversation with you.
So there's a coach, Emily Terrell or whatever.
Lee
And-
Carroll.
Yeah, so she did something, I guess it's about a year ago, where she would sit in front of the camera like we are now, and she would say something for like 30 seconds, and then she'd move her hands or whatever. And then she was able to put in like on the side bar, like a chat window, put in what she wanted her to say, and then render it, and it would say, "Hey, I'm going to be at the summit this Saturday," and it looked like it looked natural. So that might be something and I don't know what that software is. Somebody else asked me about it. I'm trying to find it, but that might be something that Kyler may be talking about.
So in that case, it's not actually her on screen. It's an AI version of her. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Ooh, fascinating.
Pretty crazy.
Scary.
Yeah.
GML
But easy.
AI is one of the services that does that. Basically, it takes an image of you, and that's all it needs. And it'll do the hand movements. It'll move your head, your mouth, your eyes. The good thing about that is that the eyes almost are always on camera, so there's none of this looking off at all of us. Bob does all the time. So there's none of it, but there's lots of the content creators that are using that now. They don't have to be on camera, and it's always it's recommended for those who just don't want to be on camera. But you know what they don't do? They don't have and they don't have any of that. It cuts out all that because it's already pre-written, but it'll use your voice, your image, and it will animate you.
Yeah, 2/3 of my coaching calls are me looking at this screen, so everybody just sees, this side. I'm like, yeah, keep talking to me, okay, because I've got the screen over here. I hope this is my good side. You tell me. The one thing that I'm really worried about with some of the stuff with AI is the people who are making, the avatars of themselves to go do the video. Like my coach, Don Jacks, did one and showed it to me, and I probably wouldn't have known it wasn't him. The second thing is the voice imprinting that they're doing. My bank, when I call in to talk to somebody, says, your voice is now your password. Say this phrase and we'll let you in. And I'm always like, no, I won't do it. Navy Federal Credit Union wants us to do voice imprint, and I will not do it. Now that we're giving our voice over to these avatars, it would be very easy to say, yeah, this is Brian, let me into my account. And then I've given away my data security.
There was a
So
like 2 days ago, someone received a FaceTime call from one of their relatives. I think is their grandson. Voice, face, asking for money, and grandma and grandpa sent money. But the scammer used a slide out to use the phone number of the child or of the grandson. Probably a grown man, but they used slide out so it would replicate the phone number on their phone. It would look like he was calling, and AI used his face, his voice, and yeah. So you need a code word or a safe word, and when you run into these situations, like I know Bob and I know what we could say to each other to know if the other one's if that's the other person. We know, but you need to know something that the only you and that other person would know to say to confirm it's you. And Bob knows what I'm talking about. He knows the word. Anyway,
and this is
but
going
I'm
to be
just
on a
saying,
live podcast, so I'm not going to give them away right now. So I'm not even going to say all the shit I know about Leslie
but
B.
it is
Wilson.
being recommended that you and your family members and friends have some type of code word that when something strange like someone's call, listen, it's your friends and family aren't calling you every day asking for money, and if they are, I'm sorry, but but they're not calling every day asking for money. But if they are calling, you need to verify who they are, and just because you see their face and hear their voice does not necessarily mean that's who it is anymore.
And the
Okay.
fact that a lot of us are doing videos, you have our voice imprints right there. So it is something that we do have to be very aware of, especially because some of the AI deep fakes, they are very realistic. It's scary how realistic they are.
Imagine this: you're under contract with another agent for a property. And that agent wants their buyers or their sellers to get out of it. They could create an AI call that they say was from you, requesting to terminate the contract. They could create a whole trail of things that you said, to get out. So, and if you already put one video out there, it's too late.
Wah, wah. Well, now that we've depressed the whole
Yeah,
audience,
holy crap.
yeah. I got a Real Geeks hack that we were working on. Last time Matt was on, and Matt and I had a one-on-one, and so this is something I've sent up to Real Geeks. I talked to Mert about it, but Mert's already dropped off. When you're in Real Geeks and you're doing a search, let's say you want to do a Polygon search, and I'm going to be in Arlington, Texas, and I want to be around the Six Flags area. So I'm going to go do a map search, and it's going to center on Arlington, and I want to be, let's say I want to be around AT&T Stadium because I don't like to be around winning teams. I'd rather be around losing teams. And I'm going to do a polygon. Come on, do a polygon for me. I want to do a polygon. Here I need to be in closer. And it's a live demo, so it's not going to work for me. It's grabbing it and not letting me do it. Okay, anyway.
Click once, let go, move your mouse, click that, No, click that. Click that. Click.
That's what I'm doing wrong. You're right. I'm holding the mouse down. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to create my polygon, and I'm going to be around. That was the Cowboys getting back at me for making fun of them. Okay, so in the URL, it's set to show you only 20 at a time. So you can manipulate the URL up here. It says per page equal 20. So I want to see 200 at a time. Great. So now it'll give me more pin drops in a second. If there are more pins there, then maybe less than 20. So there were 17. Great. But I still would see more if they were there. If you go to property list, you see up here we have the full query string URL. When we go to property list, it's going to switch it and give it a 4-digit code. These 4 digits can be alphanumeric 0 through Z and 4 different digits. These are not blocked by the crawlers. These are not blocked in robots.txt. These URLs are not blocked. But I can sit here and play this numbering scheme and find old searches. Now, watch it not work. But you can just randomly try to hit old searches that used to exist and see what was done before. And we were sitting there with Matt the other day and just going through and trolling through old searches because these numbering schemes will work. Now they're not working because I'm trying to show them off. But these 4 digits can be A through Z, 0 through 9. And every person who's ever saved a search, every person who's ever done a map search has one of these assigned. And they get through the crawlers. And I'm trying to figure out, first of all, how do I find all the addressable searches? What are they? See, here's one. Somebody did a search. The assigned number is B6, I'm sorry, 26BZ. Somebody was doing a search. Don't know what it was for. But if I put this out there somewhere, these houses might show up. So I know this is like a super long play, super stupid idea, but I've wasted time on other stuff. So why not try something? And if I can figure out what this does and what it means, can I help implement it on other people's sites?
I got a
And
question
for
about
what
that.
purpose would you be using this for in context?
If I put these out to the world to see, the Google crawlers will crawl them and then start indexing for 3721 Cherry Laurel, 141 Claremont. Because right now the properties are segmented away. Our crawlers, because we have a file called robots.txt that says do not crawl these properties pages because they're going to change too frequently and it'll look like a spammer site. This structure up here is not blocked by robots.txt, and it might get more of our pages out in a search context. Not something I'm going to figure out in the next 2 weeks, but Matt and I were talking about his site, and we were doing something, and I went, well, what happens when you do this? And then suddenly that URL showed up, and I was like, wait a minute, where do those 4 digits come from? How are they assigned? And I wrote to Real Geeks, and they're like, well, it's just random. I'm like, I need more than that. Tell me more. And what can I do with this? Why is this a thing?
So I
And
got a
how can I
question
exploit it?
about that. So let's say if you've never clicked on, what's that, Bull Creek Drive or
Yeah,
whatever?
Bull Creek.
Okay. So let's just say that you've never clicked on that before. Would the search engines acknowledge that that page exists? Or would you have to click on it for it to, I guess, acknowledge that, hey, we're creating this page for this Bull Creek Drive property, and now it's in the history books? Does that
I
make
don't think
sense?
I personally have to go click on it for the crawler to see it.
Yeah, so like if you click on it right now, will your site have more value for that listing address than somebody else's site that has a Real Geek site that's the same whatever.
I don't
that-
think
and
that,
nobody has clicked on it.
well, it might record. I don't have the answer for that.
And I guess my-
So hypothetically, let me see if I can mirror your question back. If, yeah, and by the way, whoever's selling this property, we're talking about your property here. If the Bull Creek property had been seen 5 times on Kyler's site and 0 times on Kimberly's site, would Kyler's site's page be more valuable? Yes.
right, okay.
That's right.
Sorry, Kimberly. Love you.
Sorry, Kimberly.
So,
We'll all
so,
click on your site next.
so I guess if your site has been around much longer and you've had more clicks, then that's the determining factor on which one has more SEO
Well,
value.
So let's say that your site has 20,000 clicks a month and Kathy's site has 30,000 clicks a month. Kathy's site is going to outrank yours. But if they see a page on your site that's probably more popular, they may still take that search and send it to your site because that's a specific topic. If you're not in the same markets, but let's say you're both in Melbourne, Florida, and somebody's looking for a Melbourne, Florida real estate agent, and Kathy has more clicks, she would probably get a little bit better SEO juice out of that. But if it's one specific property, they may send it to you because that property is getting more heat on your site.
Yeah, so if she's got the sidebar with condos for sale and I have the sidebar with
Townhouses.
townhomes, mine would likely come up before hers with townhome, right?
Very possibly. Very possibly. So this is yours, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And who runs your site?
It's Dynamic IDX.
Okay. Yeah. So if you had pages that were getting lots of hits, then, let's take average size homes in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Then that might actually be, sorry, was that the wrong page?
Yeah, no, I'm just I sort of probably need to update some stuff. I don't
It
know
is a
how
unique,
often I need
it's
to
a unique
update
SEO
mine.
title to, I'm not sure people are going for the long tail search average size homes, but it's, everything's playable.
Yeah,
Not trying to poke fun at you, but let's go for $1 million homes in Columbia, South Carolina. Then if your $1 million homepage is getting a lot of heat and Kathy's isn't, I think you would continue to get more SEO. Even if Kathy totally for her whole site had more hits than you had.
right, okay. And how often should you update like an index page, which I don't think I've ever updated? Is that a factor?
Like updating
Like
these
just the
pages?
homepage, like the homepage.
I would go update the homepage every couple months, every 6 months minimum, and
Yeah.
just double check your keywords, see what's trending. Obviously, when you're writing blogs about your area, because you should be writing blogs. Thank you, John, for doing that for us. You're going to want to find the trending keywords for Columbia, South Carolina, and maybe dig deeper and do a little bit more research about them. Don't just ask ChatGPT, what are the trending keywords? Go do a little bit of the homework ourselves. Because everybody's serving tofu right now on the internet. Everybody's, it's quick and easy to make. Here you go. Here's a steak. It's not steak, it's
Right.
tofu. So everybody's like, oh, ChatGPT wrote all my. If you're reading it and you can immediately tell that it's been done by ChatGPT, nobody else is
Yeah.
going to read it online either. We're just
The
stuffing
first-
tofu into everything.
The first sentence says nestled in it. That's the tell that I've seen.
What I love is when when I get something back and it has emojis all through it.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest tells right now that ChatGPT wrote it for you, is that there's emojis. I've been working with people on branding and the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And their weaknesses will come in with emojis in them. I'm like, really? You couldn't give me your own strengths and weaknesses? So okay, John, Quillbot is your friend. Yes, Quillbot is your friend. But it's still not doing the work ourselves. Okay. Anybody else got questions? Social media stuff, YouTube, Pinterest.
I'll go with the social media thing.
Oh.
What's the best what's the trending social media trends now? I mean, like what's moving the scale for people? Is it, I guess it's video, but is it video in, or is it podcast, or like, you know,
For me, I'm pushing heavily into YouTube Shorts.
okay,
YouTube Shorts basically can take anything that TikTok or Instagram does. I'm just and there's reasons to be on Instagram, there's reasons to be on TikTok. I
Yeah.
get lost because I get, you know, I just start death scrolling through all of them. But I'm putting my content on YouTube Shorts, and it gets seen a lot more than, like, I'll take a 45-minute segment like we're doing here. I'll put it through Opus Clip, and it'll take out, you know, 1 to 2 minute segments that I can use in vertical format. It'll put the text onto the video, and then I put the same segments out as shorts, and I link it back, because in YouTube you can say what are these short videos from, and I link it back to the primary video so somebody can see the 45-second clip and then go watch the full long video if they liked what they saw.
the
And
long
I
videos,
like that dynamic because it's making both assets playable. I'm sorry.
the long video is a YouTube link to it.
Right. Like, I would take the video of this whole
Yeah.
segment, and I would upload it into Opus and get it chopped into small clips. And then I would upload the full length. And then when I upload the short, part of uploading the short says, is this part of another video? And it knows your long form videos, and you say,
Okay.
yes, that one.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that way, when the short is played, if somebody likes that, it will prompt you to go watch the long form. And of course, I put them all in a playlist. So then the playlist becomes, well, you like this short, let's show you the next short from the same playlist.
And what's the best way to do like a, you know, when you're doing your videos without this format? Are you recording it from Zoom and then editing it out after that, or do you use another software for like video instruction or whatever?
I use Zoom just because it's what I know, and it's
Yeah.
simple for me. I'll also do, you know, vertical, you know, hey everybody, I'm Bob McCraney out there. I'll do my phone. I keep it simple, and I know people probably have like their big, you know, all the lights and microphones and stuff like that, you know, like, but I just don't do that. I'm simple.
Yeah, no, that I'm looking for simple.
Bob, what's your process when you're trying to figure out what to have as your caption and what to put in there for each video?
I use chat for part of it. I give chat a prompt and say, this is what the video was about. And the other thing is, you can, if you've uploaded, let's say I had the long form, and I've uploaded the long form into YouTube, and I have a private link to it, I can give that to ChatGPT as a link, and it'll scan the video in three or 4 minutes and say, here's what the video is all about. Now, when I'm using Opus Clip, Opus will transcribe the 45 second to 1 minute clip and have all that detail in there. I'm not sure I'm getting to where you're asking about that, but I'll go to chat and say, what's a good title for this? What's a good meta description, or, you know, description for this video? I will still go add my own flavor to it, but it's working.
Do you use a virtual assistant at all for stuff like that, or you do everything yourself?
My virtual assistant, well, I do a lot of that myself, but my assistant is actually on the call with me, John. He's not virtual, he's real. He looks very realistic, but he's actually an AI.
I'm a real
That's great
boy.
software.
Yes. So John does a lot of our blogging on our various WordPress sites. He's working with Kimber now on some projects. And what I love is I don't have to micromanage or say, you know, here's what this is all for. I literally just think something, and it's like Radar O'Reilly on MASH. He's already doing it. As soon as Colonel Potter needed something, Radar was walking through the door with it. That's John. You have to be a certain age to watch this podcast. Sorry, guys.
Hey, well, you're
I just got
dating
to
yourself
mention
with your references there.
I've been dating myself for years. So yeah, so no, not virtual. The virtual assistants are great for some things. And if you have one that's working for you, fabulous. Who has a virtual assistant here? I've got one doing calling for me.
I'm trying, not quite there yet.
Okay. Kimberly, your hand is raised.
I
Kimberly, your
raised
hand
it.
is not
I've
raised.
got the virtual assistant, so yes.
Gotcha. Curtis, are you there?
I'm here.
Anything we can do for you today?
Nothing specific. I mean, this is pretty well above my pay grade. I don't normally have conversations on this level. I'm doing basic things. I'm just door knocking, making phone calls, text messaging, not really into the social media too much. This is why I joined, just to see what you guys were up to. Learned quite a bit today. So this was very informative.
Oh, good. Good. Glad to be helpful. Yeah. We do this every month, usually on the third Friday of the month. So, and there's no agenda, just everybody contribute what questions you have, what you're seeing, what little hack you've discovered. Listen to Mert and try to figure out what he means, because God love him, he's so far above me. And yeah, and we'll just keep trying it.
Next time I'll come a little bit more prepared with some questions, but this was fantastic.
We're more than enough prepared. We're happy to be here. So, okay, everybody, you have a great weekend, and we will be back on the third Friday of next month. And just if you have questions in between, go in our Facebook group and just ask away.
Thanks for
Awesome.
everything.